What's going on, guys? It's Draman and welcome back to another episode of NBA Kicks, the show where we count down the top 10 best sneakers worn in the NBA every single week of the season. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you dunk on that button and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Today, obviously, we got to talk about all the great sneakers that were worn during the 2021 NBA All-Star Game, which surprisingly was kind of a blowout, but it was a blowout with a lot of great sneakers. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a snack, and let's get straight to these kicks. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Paul George with the Nike Pg5. So this year, the NBA has taken this initiative of donating the money from All-Star Weekend that was earned between Team LeBron and Team Durant to historically black colleges and universities. And Nike has also implemented this Play for the Future theme in their lineup of All-Star kicks this year, which is showcased here with the Nike Pg5. Using a striking shade of turquoise alongside mainly white accents, this colorway also has an extremely light pink swoosh, as well as a mint outsole to go along with the multicolored laces and heel tab, which again are all a part of that Play for the Future theme and are actually inspired by the rivers and lakes that PG loves, as well as his desire to make a positive impact to protect our planet's most precious resource, water. I'll be the first one to admit that that theme does feel a little forced and out of place when compared to the NBA's Play for the Future initiative, but it's still a solid colorway that looks great on the hardwood, and I just couldn't leave it off this week's list. Next up at number 9, we have LeBron James with the Nike LeBron 18. So here's another Play for the Future themed sneaker by Nike, and if you thought PG's theme was forced, just wait until you hear how they tied in LeBron's 18 signature sneaker. According to Nike, this white, clear, and blue tinted colorway is inspired by the clean and unpolluted air that athletes need to breathe when they ball now and in the future. Yes, you heard that correctly. This colorway is inspired by clean air, and I'm not talking about the cushioning. Now, while that theme may feel forced once again, it's still a pretty solid colorway of what I think is a great looking silhouette. And LeBron even decided to do a little lace swap with some green laces that come as an extra pair when you buy these. And at the end of the day, these really don't do anything to offend me. And if they were given to me as a gift, I would most definitely rock these on and maybe even off the court as well. Coming in at number 8, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo with a new colorway of the Nike Zoom Freak 2. Nike's Play for the Future take on Giannis's second signature sneaker is a symbol of Nike basketball's commitment to the generation of who got next. Using a sapphire black and light smoke color scheme, this colorway has a very unique look that isn't seen on other sneakers very often, and Giannis actually sported an alternate version of this colorway as well for a two-tone look that is all the rage this season. And personally, I think that the two-tone style works here, and I'd even go as far as to say that the alternate green pair is the superior of the two. But overall, I'm just really digging this late 80s, early 90s surfer vibe that these have to offer. But don't forget to let me know which of these two colorways you like better in the comment section below. Next up at number 7, we have Julius Randle with a new colorway of the Nike Kyrie Low 3. So Nike did hook Kyrie up with a Play for the Future colorway of his 7th signature model. But to be honest with you guys, these didn't really do much for me. So instead, I decided to put first-time All-Star Julius Randle's pair of Kyrie Low 3s on the list instead. This colorway uses a variety of patterns and colors to offer a very unique look that reminds me a lot of Nike's What The series, but apparently these two are also a part of their Play for the Future campaign. I just couldn't find any information about them on the site like the other sneakers. And while I much rather have put KD's All-Star kicks or even those All-Star Cosmic Unities on the list instead, those sneakers were absent during the night. So I had no choice but to put this pair of Kyrie's on the list instead. And that's okay because it's still a solid pair of kick and was one of the standout sneakers from the weekend. Night. Next up at number 6, we have Donovan Mitchell with the Dyed Issue number 2 from Adidas. This colorway of Donovan Mitchell's second signature sneaker is dubbed the Fire of Greatness colorway and uses a solar yellow and solar red color scheme alongside some black accents as well as a fire graphic on both the heel and inner lining. The Fire of Greatness theme, which you can also see labeled on the laces, is a bright and blazing homage to Mitchell's inspiring journey to basketball superstardom and offers a vibrant look that is definitely hard to miss on the court. Personally, I was torn between these as well as James Harden's solar yellow colorway of the Harden Volume 5s, but I decided to give the Don issues a spot here because they're a nice change of pace from the other colorways that we've seen of the silhouette. But don't forget to let me know which of these two colorways you'd rather add to your collection. Kicking off our top 5, we have Jaylen Brown with an all-star classic, the Adidas T-Mac 2. Alright, so even though we've seen the classic two-tone T-Mac look from McGrady himself back in 04, as well as others throughout the years, Jaylen Brown's first All-Star appearance was accompanied by the T-Mac 2 in a very special and unique way. Here we see Brown in a classic red and blue colorway of the T-Mac 2, which has a stars graphic on the lateral side, as well as a special motto, humble and hungry, on the medial side, which is actually a piece of advice that McGrady gave Brown himself via Twitter back when Jaylen was still in high school. This is truly an incredible backstory that shows us just how hard Jaylen has worked to get to this point of his career, and the fact that he's honoring his past as well as his current achievements through his sneakers is exactly why I do NBA kicks, because oftentimes sneakers are much more than just things you wear on your feet, and this colorway of the T-Mac 2 from Jaylen Brown is a perfect example of that. Next up at number 4, we have Steph Curry with the debut of a new Curry 8 colorway. Now, while Steph was putting on an absolutely incredible performance during the three-point contest, he was rocking the International Women's Day colorway of his Ace signature sneaker, which is a very solid colorway that has a great meaning behind it. But personally, I'm a much bigger fan of the colorway that he rocked during this year's All-Star game. This colorway uses what looks like an all-white color scheme. However, when you take a closer look, the overlays are painted with an iridescent look, which give these a very distinct look that's subtle, clean, and personally, one of my favorite Curry 8 colorways that I've seen thus far. Next up at number 3, we have Chris Paul with a special colorway of the Jordan CP313. So last season in the bubble, Chris Paul rocked a slew of CP312 colorways, which were all inspired by historically black colleges and universities. So the point guard was already way ahead of that and leading the charge way before this year's All-Star festivities. However, this year's All-Star colorway of the follow-up still might be inspired by HBCUs. If you take a look at the NBA's design for the All-Star court right next to this multicolored colorway of Chris Paul's 13th signature sneaker, you can definitely see some similarities, and personally, I actually see a lot of similarities between these and one of my favorite off-court kicks of all time, the Jordan 1 Blue the Great. Now, it's unclear what exactly the inspiration behind this colorway is, but you can see that CP put his teammate's favorite motto, "Be Legendary," on the midsole, as well as D-Book 1, which I'm not sure exactly why that's there. Maybe he's hinting at a Devin Booker signature sneaker, the D-Book 1. Who knows? That's probably just wishful thinking, but at the end of the day, I'm a real sucker for these multicolored colorways with textile materials. So here they are at number 3 on this year's list. Coming in as our runner-up, we have Luka Doncic with the debut of the Jordan 35 Low. Alright, so as far as I can tell, this is our first look at the low-top version of the Jordan 35 this season. And while Luka did wear a pretty awesome colorway of the mid-tops as well, I decided to give the lows a spot here since it is a first for the year. Using a white, purple, pink, and Volt color scheme, this colorway is accompanied by a patent leather-like material, which has a galaxy-ish themed graphic on it, which brings me back to the good old days of All-Star themed sneakers, as well as Luka's LD7 logo on the tongue, and also what might be a glow-in-the-dark material for the underlays. As far as how the 35s convert to a low-top silhouette, I think the conversion is fairly clean, but I'd still take the mid-tops over the lows any day of the week, since I do think it's a more natural look. But it's always great to see Jordan Brand give us some options, and I'm sure low-top lovers are absolutely going to be pumped about these. Finally, at number 1, we have Zion Williamson with a new PE of the Air Jordan 35. Okay, so fellow Jordan Brand athlete Jason Tatum also had a special colorway of the 35, which was actually inspired by International Women's Day, and we also already saw Luka's green and orange colorway as well. But I think it's safe to say that Zion easily had the best and most unique colorway of 35s during this year's All-Star game. Using different shades of green throughout to accompany that teeth graphic on the overlay of the forefoot, this colorway has got to be an alternate Bayou Boys colorway inspired by crocodiles, since you do have that awesome teeth graphic as well as what looks like a faux croc skin on the back end of the upper, while everything else is rounded out with speckled elements on the Eclipse Blade 2.0, as well as different shades of military green and beiges on the tongue, midsole, and outsole. You might not be a fan of this particular color scheme, and you might not even be a fan of the 35s in general, but I think there's no denying that these, at the very least, were the most unique pair of kicks that we saw across all the All-Star festivities, and that's why I decided to give it the #1 spot as the best sneaker worn during the 2021 NBA All-Star Game. But there you guys have it. Those were the 10 best sneakers worn during this year's All-Star Weekend, or night. I'm still getting used to saying that. But if you enjoyed this week's episode of NBA Kicks, make sure you hit that like button because it helps me out a lot. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more sneaker-related content just like this. My name's Jaren. It's been great having you. Catch you guys in next week's episode. Peace!